welcome to Sports Counsel, your playbook for all things sports. I am your host Matt, and I am here with G and Dylan for this episode of the show. Another year, another early Lakers exit. After getting Luka Doncic and the third seed in the West, only to be upset in the first round, we break down another disappointing Lakers season and what's next for the team. Plus, we'll preview and predict the Conference Semifinals matchups. Today is May 5th, 2025, and this is episode 175 of the show.
Hey man, New Year, same shit for the Lakers, right?
Oh my goodness. I mean,
You've heard the saying, Timberwolves in 5?
Man who said it isn't doing so well either right now, but
yeah, Lakers probably not helping his case right now either.
Late night pod here in the studio.
Back at it again.
It's a Monday night, which means we just saw the ending to that Nuggets Thunder game. For those of you who know and are very well aware by now, by the time we upload this, man, incredible game right there.
Aaron Gordon, though, man, his stock is going up.
2 game
Clutch
winners.
It out. 2 games, bro.
2 game winners. Oh my God. Is he clutch?
I would say so.
Maybe. Either way, we'll get to the conference semifinals in just a bit. We are here to talk Lakers first. More importantly, Lakers slander. But before we get started, we are Sports Counsel. And G, where can you find Sports Counsel?
You know, that's a great question, Matt. Sports Counsel can actually be found on all your major social media platforms. So I'm talking Twitter, I'm talking X, I'm talking Instagram, Threads, Sports_Counsel. That's the handle for all of them. And the best part is in the bio of each one of those social medias, you'll find our Discord link. And the Discord link is the best place to find us, ask us questions, get to know us, and just live react and, lose your hairs with us, as, one could say. And also nowadays we're on TikTok and YouTube, also Sports Counsel. Who would have guessed it, right? But yeah, we're everywhere.
And, you got to join in on all the playoff discussion and fun. The insanity is just getting started. We were live reacting in our Discord right now to the Aaron Gordon game winner. So go ahead.
Insane.
Discord link is in the bios for all of those, Sports_Counsel. All right, but let's get into it before we forget about them because they're no longer in the playoffs. Here we go. It's LeBron's losing Lakers part 3. I mean, this is like the longest ongoing series that we've had in the show. This is episode 175, and I believe the first LeBron's losing Lakers was recorded as episode 4. I want to say episode 4. So that's crazy to think about. With Viv. Shout out Viv. He couldn't be here tonight, but he said to go hard on LeBron in my honor. So that's a little party.
So Matt was like, yes, don't even got to ask.
Don't even got to ask. I was always going to do it anyway. But I mean,
we know that much.
they've been eliminated for quite a while now. It's been like almost a week, right?
It's still pretty fresh.
Still pretty fresh. Still a pretty relevant topic, I would say. Just because it's the Lakers, and you just feel like we can, even when they lose, we still can't stop talking about them. Not sound like Charles Barkley, but hey, man, he's not wrong.
I mean, first of all, let's recap the Lakers season. They were a 3rd seed in the West. They went 50-32. And obviously, of course, in February, they were able to acquire Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a first-round pick. Blew everybody in the NBA's minds. LeBron and Luka got to play together. They got on a huge winning streak after that. And then they promptly lost in 5 to the Minnesota Timberwolves. So, I mean, let's start off with the series, first of all, because I think we all predicted that the Lakers were going to win that series. I predicted that they were going to go all the way to the finals, and I want to just share with you guys a little bit about that. I've never gotten an NBA finals prediction correct, and I wasn't planning on doing that this year either.
You said I was a homer when I started picking the Warriors and shit, and you told me, stop, don't do it.
That's why I told you. That's why I told you to do that shit.
Now my pick is wrong, and now I'm just like, damn, I could have had a correct pick, but you guys forced me out of it.
You need to stop trusting Matt on your picks, man.
Bro,
the Spurs game.
Do you realize what happened? Because you picked the Lakers and I picked the Lakers. That's how it works. That's how the jinx works.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, man, let's get into it. I feel like that was a pretty pathetic series, right?
I think so. I think that he just really dropped the game plan, or what's left of the game plan. I mean, that game 6 when JJ just left his starters in the entire second half. I thought that was hella crazy for him doing that and not even giving them like a breather at all.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think first of all, wait, like yeah, that was game four. Game three, they were on Friday, and game four was Sunday, right? So they had like 1 day of rest, right? I think that
Yeah.
was kind of the thing. Like, it was a lot of what the Warriors like, and we'll talk about it later. But I think that the age of the Lakers kind of got to them, as well as the fact that they weren't that deep. Like they were really like top heavy. I think the only bench players were like Jared Vanderbilt, Gabe Vincent, um, one other guy that I totally forgot probably,
You're not
which
that old though.
LeBron's old, right? That's the thing.
That's just LeBron. But he's
LeBron
still
has to be
like
their second best player. That's the thing.
Well, they do have a guy that's out of shape and fat, right?
you can't play defense.
Can't play defense
He was
either.
getting picked on all game.
That's true. I mean, I think you see like all the highlights, like all the videos. It shows like Luka gets blown by. Like every Timberwolves bucket looked like they were just driving that Luka all game, right?
Right. I think it wasn't a good look for him. But I mean, at the end of the day, like in totality, like obviously getting Luka makes the season a W, but it's not really the way you want to go out. I feel like that kind of leaves a lot of questions to be desired and answered this offseason, which is not the way I would expect them wanting to go into this, right? I think they wanted to go into the offseason with more optimism, and this kind of, I think you have to kind of look at it a little bit more pessimistic now, right?
Yeah, and I think that like one part of it is that I mean, they were still a third seed. Like we know, like we're gonna give them some slack that this was obviously not the plan heading into the playoffs. Like this was not the roster that they anticipated, right? They did all that to trade AD and get Luka, right? And that kind of left like a little bit of a mismatched roster between LeBron and Luka, and then a bunch of other players that didn't really fit with either LeBron or Luka. So I get that. But they still had expectation. They were still a 50-win team. They still expected to go and try to win it all. And now you come back and now you're kind of saying like, okay, now I have a 41-year-old LeBron, right? And Luka is going to want whatever kind of gigantic deal he's going to have. And then you got to fill out the rest of your roster. And I want to first like go back to like the playoff series first. Like, do you feel like JJ Redick was the right man for this job? Like he kind of showed like he had a terrible coaching time in this series, right? I felt like he was obviously like outmatched in every single like chess match that he had with Chris Finch.
I think JJ did a not bad job during the regular season. I think when it comes to playoffs, it is kind of like growing pains where those micro adjustments does pay off a lot. And I think that's what separates good coaches from great coaches. Like you need to know how to adjust on the fly and not being so like tunnel vision on like one way of playing the game or one way of like setting your lineups. So I think that kind of like showed in this series between the Lakers and the T-Wolves.
Yeah, but I'm gonna cut him some slack though. I think he did a really good job with with the roster they had because that roster wasn't like in any way like a good
It
roster.
is his first season too, so
Yeah, exactly. It's his first season. He didn't know they were getting Luka. They didn't know they were getting Luka. So it's like it's a lot to manage, right, on the fly. So I'm gonna cut him some slack for now. But I do. I would want to see some. Obviously, you say in-game improvements coming out of this next year. Like they had a good regular season, and I think that's like good enough to say he was a good hire so far. I would still say. I wouldn't say in any way I would regret the decision.
definitely better than Darvin Ham, and who is also out of the playoffs. But I think what irked me the most is when like that last game when he even played like Jackson Hayes at all, even though like
Yeah.
they're
Jackson
getting cooked.
Hayes is terrible though, bro.
Yeah, but like I think you just have no other option, and I mean you're really gonna trot out Maxi Kleber when he hasn't even played in like 45 games. I think you just have to like deal with the hand that you're dealt with, right? And just like put in Hayes or even try like Dalton Connect and like get him some minutes, even though like Dalton Connect is so new. But
No,
I think
agree.
I just didn't
totally
like
agree.
how like I just didn't like how he like ran his or used his players correctly in this last game.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. There are definitely some, I guess, coaching changes of maybe a philosophy that he needs to figure out, and maybe they need to build around that now, right? Because they clearly doesn't trust many of the guys on the roster. I think that's what kind of the biggest glaring thing is. Like these guys, like Jackson Hayes, Connect, like he doesn't trust him, right? So it's like you got to get new guys in there and see how it goes when you run it that way. But I think it should be interesting. I don't think they're in a bad shape. Obviously, they got Luka now, so that'll help.
Yeah. I think one thing I want to just go back to the JJ Redick thing for a second. Like, he got weirdly sensitive when he was questioned about it. Like, at the beginning of the game 5, he was like, oh, like, are you going to go rely on your assistant coaches to help you out with the, like, fourth quarter rotation? And then he got all upset about it. It's like, oh, it's what I always do. And then he left the interview. And then, in the fourth quarter, he decided to go with Maxi Kleber. And, like, I think the biggest difference between Finch and Redick was, like, Dylan, you said, like, Finch, good coaches know how to adjust on the fly, right? And every time in crunch time, even though he gets paid a ridiculous amount of money, Finch sat Rudy Gobert in all of those must-win situations. He put in Naz Reid. Naz Reid was better on the perimeter, like defense against Luka. He hit the big threes when he needed to, and that's what won him the game. And then that's the difference. And Maxi Kleber was brought in with 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter in Game 5. I think that's the biggest difference between those two. And maybe Redick will get better at it as time goes along. But, I mean, I'm not going to give him any slack. This is a Lakers slander segment, so...
But let's slander the guys that are more enjoyable to slander. I didn't come here.
Okay. Give me a name. Give me a name.
Man, God damn it, that old fuck gotta play better, bro.
You talking about you want to say it before the Clutch Media vans come?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the old man, LeBron James. LeBron's losing Lakers. Not Luka's losing Lakers, not yet, but it's Bron, dude. I feel like there's a lot of reliability that's got to put on him. He's got to play better. Luka's got to play better. We got to get to that as well. Like Luka played.
Austin Reeves needs to play better.
But see, that's the thing. The third option is hard because in almost all LeBron teams, the third option kind of plays based off momentum of the game. So it's hard for him to catch a rhythm, especially when Luka's ball dominant so much. So you can't be ball dominant and then not be creating shots for others, right? So I don't know. I think it's a collective failure. LeBron, Luka, they both got to get some fair share. A little bit of Austin Reeves, like you said. He's not going to go out of here free. But yeah, LeBron and Luka, man.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron, he's going to be 41 next season, assuming he plays. Let's assume that he does because he always does. He sprained his AMCL, I think, at the end of that Game 5. But, I mean, he was rather ineffective in the first 2 games to begin with. He had a good Game 3 and Game 4, but then I think he just lost steam at the end of it. Like, how do you... It's hard because I think he's going to have to sign again this season. He always has that player option. He'll probably opt out and then he'll go for another max. I mean, can you still win if you give Luka a supermax and then LeBron's like your second most highest paid player? Like, that's concerning because now you run out of cap space. How are you going to improve this team without all that cap space? And then it's going to a 41-year-old. Now you expect to be like a consistent second option. And I don't know if he's going to be able to bring that now.
I think it's really hard because if you're gonna give you're gonna give LeBron, who's again 41, and you're gonna give him all the money as well as Luka, then you have no money to fill out the rest of your bench. And I think we all know in the playoffs your bench matters so much when one of your star players isn't having a good game or gets injured and someone else needs to step up. So I think I think the best way, if they can, I would say he needs to take a team friendly contract, in my opinion, in order to, if he wants another shot in the playoffs, because this roster right now ain't it, especially with no true center. You need to give up some money if you want to have those deep runs or find a potential third option or fourth option.
Yeah, and I think Austin Reeves is the third guy, right? I think he's locked in. So let's say LeBron, Luka, Austin. And then, I mean, what do you do at that point? Let's get into fix-it mode, I guess. What do you think the Lakers' main solution has to be?
I think they got to get a big man. I think that's obviously the no shit kind of answer, right? But obviously is also the biggest pressing need, in my opinion. That's also undebatable. Once they get that figured out, I would then look into depth pieces for cheap, right? We always have I would say kind of guys that are going cheaper and can end up making a bigger impact. Buddy Hield's that one this year, he had a huge impact. and he's just pretty cheap contract. And there's always guys that are going to be out there for a bargain, and I think that's where they got. He's going to get him money now. He's playing too well.
Well, I know it's too late, but
yeah, he's a perfect example. I mean, the Cavs are paying him next to nothing. So there's guys like that always available, right? So I don't know who. I'm not going to give names, but there's definitely centers and then guards and stuff like that are going to be available. They're going to be willing to take the cheaper contract to play with the Lakers. The whole deal. So I think it's there, but the center is first thing that they got to get. After that, they got to figure out like what JJ actually wants in his offense and what are the type of players that can fit that.
Yeah, and I think Luka in general, I feel like this team has to build for Luka now. I feel like it's been building for LeBron, but again, now Luka is going to be the center of the franchise. He's only 26, right? If he signs that supermax, he'll be there for a very long time. So they need to build the championship around Luka. So I feel like that center, he has to be like a lob threat, because like you saw with they had terrible centers in Dallas before, and they were struggling. And then all of a sudden, Luka got Derek Lively. He got PJ Washington.
I was going to say, I would think about getting Gafford. Gafford's a good pickup. I think he's obviously accustomed to playing with Luka. It's less of a let's see how it goes, and it's going to work.
Yeah.
And he provides a good defensive, threat in the middle of the paint for them.
Should they have traded for Mark Williams?
I mean, if you don't trust the physical, then maybe not.
Yeah.
I heard there were rumors that they just didn't believe he was smart enough to run their veteran system. Which I thought was ridiculous. Like Jackson Hayes can run it, but Mark Williams can't.
Yeah, I don't know about all that, but that's the dumbest shit I've heard. Mark Williams would have been great for their team.
Yeah. I'm glad he didn't get him then. Okay, last thoughts on the Lakers. Luka, I think we kind of forgot about it a little bit, but I mean, there were some issues with Luka. He had like a back strain, I think. He had food poisoning one game. So he had some kind of like stuff that was making him not as, great as he was last year when he carried a team all the way to the finals, right? So we'll give him some slack on that. But I mean, there's still some issues there with Luka, right? And the conditioning, the bad defense. I mean, do you believe that he can still be that top option? He'll be able to get you to a championship as a top
100%.
option?
Of course, no question.
No question? I'm not saying finals, but championship.
But he literally took Dallas to the finals last year, and now everyone's complaining about like
100% can be the best player on a championship team.
But now everyone's complaining about his conditioning.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're not gonna act like he just didn't do it, right? And then obviously, okay, he didn't win it. That's your question. He can. Yeah, if you can make it to the championship, you can win it, and the winning it comes down to just a few different tweaks and changes, right? So as long as they get those tweaks and changes right, like they got the guy I think as the best player on their team, but now they have to build a team around him and not LeBron. And once they do that, and maybe even if it includes LeBron moving on, it's definitely doable. And if you don't do it, that's a you thing rather than the player thing. It's like I put Luka on the same level of Giannis, right? Like obviously Giannis has won it before, but at the end of the day, the Bucks are bad, but no one's like you can't win with Giannis. We know that you just got to put the right pieces around him, right? And I think it's the same thing.
Follow-up question. Let's say Luka signs Supermax. LeBron signs a max deal, because he probably will. What happens? Will they win a championship with that core? Will they win a championship with LeBron and Luka?
Probably not. It's just by giving them most of the money, like it goes back to my point about like filling out your bench with like key role players and finding good people in free agency. And since they won't have enough money, then they have to like really trust like the super cheap people or like people from the G League to step up. So I would say it's going to be a really small window.
G, you feel the same way? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's gonna be tough, but I mean, I definitely think it's possible.
If you were to give it a percentage
of what percentage? What's like 100%? They're gonna win a ring. Luka's gonna win a ring on the Lakers?
Let's say LeBron lasts 2 more years. So, do you think they're gonna win a championship in the next 2 years, percentage-wise?
I'd say it's probably close to like a little bit better than a 50-50.
I don't
Then
know.
I mean, you got Luka. That's a hard part to get. It's always assembling rosters is like supposed to technically be easier than getting the superstar, right? So, in my opinion, it's definitely doable and it should be done. There's there's not too many ways to look at it. In my opinion, it's like there's no reason you shouldn't be able to.
I think with the age of LeBron and the stamina of Luka, if you got those two guys on defense, 2/5 of those, 2/5 of your starting lineup out there, and they have to play defense like that, it's a little bit harder for me to kind of. And I know LeBron's great on defense, but he's getting old. That's the issue with me, right? So the other three have to be like the most amazing 3-and-D players of all time.
Or their offense has just got to be much better, and their defense is good, which is their likely way of winning the championship, in my opinion. Like, you can't have like a flat offense and a bad defense. You can't have a flat offense and a flat defense. You got to have one of them's got to be exceptional, right? And I think when you have LeBron and Luka, you're expecting the offense to be exceptional. So this was what it's got to be.
Yeah, I won't say never because I'm not gonna jinx it like that, but I'm feeling a lot less certain about that, and that's okay.
Okay. Well, I mean, this would be a good one to see. I think it's up to Plinka now to see if he can actually do a job well.
Not just rely on Nico.
Thank you, Nico Harrison.
I'm pretty sure he won Executive of the Year just based off of Nico's idiocy.
Yeah, he deserves it.
Well, that was another great segment of LeBron's Losing Lakers. Tune in next year. We'll probably give you the same thing.
I feel like the conversations are usually pretty similar to each other.
Hey, next time we go to Disneyland and tape that part.
Okay,
Tape this
sure.
segment.
Bet. We'll be on camera. Let's have all these Mickey Mouse ears too.
And then we'd be like, if LeBron wants to win again, he's got to come back here.
All right,
Well,
let's go to the conference semifinals previews. We're a day late, we know, and 3 of the 4 games ones have already played, but there's still a lot to talk about here, especially since now I think a lot of these are going to be a very long series. They didn't really project to be that way, but I mean, that's why we play the games. And so we're just going to dive in right now. Again, at the time of this recording, 3 of the game ones have already played out. Cavs-Pacers, Celtics-Knicks, and Nuggets-Thunder. So we already know the result of those. And I think some of our analysis is going to be based off of that as well. But we'll see. Let's start with the Cavs and Pacers. First of all, this was an interesting series to begin with. I think both teams were incredibly deep. And I don't know if anyone picked the Bucks. G, did you pick the Bucks to win?
nah, I'm a Halliburton guy.
Okay. So
I think we all went Pacers.
Yeah, like I felt like the Pacers were like that team. They got all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. They look good. Like I felt like they look good, and that even before Game 1, I want to say it right now. I put it on this doc that I was gonna pick the Pacers in this to upset the Cavs because I feel like they're just so deep. That's the thing.
And they have such an efficient offense. I don't want to beat the dead horse here, but comparing it to like the Lakers that we just talked about, where their team doesn't feel well put together, this team fits around Halliburton. They understand the system is, who their best player is, how to play around him, and then the whole nine. Like everybody understands their role. There's no issues about anything, flow, defense, hustle, that's all there. And then you have Halliburton, who's just executing like one of the best offenses in the NBA. And it's just, I say NFL because I was going to make the comparison. He's just like a quarterback, right? Like,
Yeah.
Maybe he's not the best quarterback putting up, Josh Allen numbers or Lamar Jackson numbers, but he's like your efficient game manager quarterback, right? Like, he's going to get serviceably good stats, like averaging like almost 20 points or 20 plus points with 10 plus assists is insane numbers, especially for like no one's really doing that nowadays. And then on low turnover and high efficiency, so it's like those numbers aren't really like modern basketball. For him to kind of play that way, I think it's impressive. And then for the Cavs point of it, like Garland being out is huge. Like, don't you guys feel like Garland's kind of like a make it or break it for the Cavs? X factor type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, Garland hurt with the big toe. I mean, also the fact that Evan Mobley got hurt in the last game with the sprained ankle. DeAndre Hunter, I think he dislocated a finger. So, I mean, that's like, what, more than half of the starting lineup right there? Mobley being out would be huge.
That's a lot. That's like 3 of your main 6 like rotation players.
And losing your defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
Mobley.
he's their beast. And like they already had like, I think the biggest thing is that they had a great backcourt duo in Garland and Mitchell, and they had a great front court duo in Allen and Mobley. Both are hurt now, so it's like I don't want to say like it's gonna be easier for the Pacers. I still have the Pacers in 7, but like I just believe that it's because Indiana is just a lot deeper than you think, just because they don't have the star power, just because they're not super flashy, but they're like they play as a team, like you said, G. They're very cohesive together, and I feel like that's enough to like the Cavs are just like that as well. They have like they're like 8, 9 deep, right? They got Ty Jerome and they got Max Strus and they got all these players, but now they're hurt as well, and I think they could get blitzed, right? They had some struggles in the regular season. They weren't perfect, and I feel like the Pacers could get them. I think they were down 3-1 against Indiana in the regular season this year as well.
Well, I looked into that. There are a lot of games where Mitchell and Halliburton didn't play, so I think the only game they played, they only played one game where both of them were in it. So I'm not going to act like that's the end of the world because of the regular season. But in the defense of the Cavs, there's one way to win this series, and it's, I think, pretty straightforward if you were a Cavs fan. It's on the back of Donovan Mitchell, right? You got to have him put up like a monstrous performance every game,
like
and
30.
then have like 30 plus, and that's a lot to ask for just from an average Joe like us saying that, right? Like, hey, just get us 30 a game, it's much easier said than done. But it realistically is the only way that they can, I think, figure this out. They have too many injuries, and it's like one of that type of things where if you're a superstar, which I think Mitchell is, he's borderline superstar. He's got to just make up for it, and I'm not going to act like it's a series over, or it's not going to be competitive at all going forward. I think it's going to be a 7-game series, but Matt, I might be with you. I think I got the Pacers in 7.
Let's go. All right, Dylan, what are you going to choose?
I'm also going to pick the Pacers just because
not
only because of Tyrese, but I really like their front court of Siakam and Turner and how they can stretch out the floor. And I believe Turner can now hit threes, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think their front court is a little bit better than just by that spacing alone can take over Cleveland.
Well, now we're screwed. But I mean,
yeah, now we're screwed. Yeah.
Place your bets now.
It's gonna be the Cavs in 6 or 5.
They just sweep the rest of the series right after we say something.
Yeah, literally. I can imagine it already happening.
It's like, oh, I'm feeling better. Oh my gosh.
My thumb is back in place. Well, it should be a good series, though. I think, kind of jumping into the other Eastern Conference series, I think this is another really exciting matchup here. Old school Celtics-Knicks matchup. We also saw that one today. An insane game, man. Shout out to fucking Jalen Brunson.
Crazy.
Steal going to Boston, steal game 1. Kind of also dealing with their own little set of injuries there. KP got hurt. And then I think Hauser got hurt, so they only had Al Horford at center. And then, it's not the end of the world. But they played a lot of games without Kristaps Porzingis this year, so should have been kind of ready to go. But, hey, man, Jalen Brunson, it was funny because I was watching this with my housemate, and I was just like, it started the fourth quarter. I'm like, yeah, so this is where Jalen Brunson goes fucking stupid. And then accordingly starts hitting 2, 3 threes in the fourth quarter. Yeah, insane, man. Shout out to fucking Jalen Brunson.
I'll admit I haven't seen a lot of Knicks games this year, so when I heard Jalen Brunson won the Clutch Player of the Year award, I was like, okay, I didn't really know why, but now I've seen it Game 6 versus the Pistons, and now Game 1 versus the Celtics.
Every game against the Pistons, man, that man would just team on my back. Every time there's a clutch bucket that needs to be made, he just finds a way to get it, and it's just insane how clutch he is.
Yeah, and it's weird, Kristaps being out for this, the second half. I feel like he was out for one of the Orlando games as well. He got hurt. I know he was bleeding from his head in one of those games. And then, I thought he was absent from another game. He keeps having these health things, and it's he's always battling something. And then Tatum, he had that wrist injury. I don't know if it's bothering him or not. He sucked tonight. Drew, he got hurt for a little bit. Don't text Kobe. I mean, Kobe would be ashamed. Jaylen Brown had something as well, I think, earlier in the
Yeah.
Orlando series. So they're all battling stuff right now.
Yeah, I mean they're not healthy, but I mean, who is there in the playoffs, right? Like, name me a healthy team right now. Like, what does that even mean? So it's like you gotta stop. Like, I don't think that excuse is viable now. I just feel like you gotta get the job done. And I think that's what Jason Tatum said. So respect to him. He was like, like it's physical. Like the refs aren't going to really be there, and we're not really expecting them to be there. You just got to go out there and win. And I think that's exactly the way the mentality you should have. I'm not going to overreact to this one too much. I still think it's Celtics in maybe like 6.
No faith in the Knicks at all? I mean, you chose
I'm
against
going
them last
Knicks.
time.
I want Knicks.
No, no.
I know
Glenn.
that's
Knicks
not
in
who
7.
I want. I would love for the Knicks to win, But when I come to this podcast when we record, I put my analysis hat on. I put my non-biased, truth-seeking, truth-giving hat on, and it's saying Celtics in 6. Unfortunate, but I will be rooting for the Knicks.
Tell me why they're gonna win.
They just are the better team. They just are. Like in every facet of the game, I think they're better. And I don't think the Knicks is, I just hyped up Brunson, but how many games can he save you against this defense? Drew Holiday's on him. It's going to leave his tool. He's not going to be able to do this forever. Like someone's got to step up. Cat is going to continue to struggle, get in foul trouble. They got him getting harassed out there. Like it's just I feel he looks uncomfortable.
I remember
he just looks uncomfortable.
I sent Matt a video of like a compilation of like when Cat is in the paint and try to call for a foul.
And he's like, "Oh my god!"
It's like, "Oh my god, foul!"
And the funniest thing was that the Knicks, like, they had that podcast, right?
It was,
so I think his teammates were reacting to it.
It was Jalen and Josh.
Yeah, the Jalen and Josh are hilarious, and they're doing their thing, But
shout out collabs.
They need some help from Cat to really get the series closed out. I don't know if they're going to get it. I think Brunson can win you 2 or 3 games, so it's going to be a good one. I think it'll be going down to the wire every game. But Celtics and themselves are a pretty clutch team too. So I think Tatum didn't show it today, but I think he'll bounce back as well and have a better series going forward.
I say Knicks in 7.
Tell me why.
Knicks in 7.
I just like how gritty they are more than the Celtics. I'm a huge Jalen Brunson fan and like what he
I am
does.
a huge Jalen Brunson fan too.
But I think it just all comes down to OG. If Cat can't get the job done, OG has to step up it.
Well, OG played great today. I think he had like 5 or 6 threes or something. So I'm like, how many?
He had
times
29. He had as many as Brunson.
Yeah. How many times are you gonna get that from OG?
I think that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping for. He needs to step up in these big moments, especially in this series, and also just plant Suni Lee on the sideline.
Jesus.
And
I was about to say.
But I think it's not only Cat, it's just OG. I think OG is going to be that guy who's going to dictate this series.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And I think Mikal Bridges as well. Like, he had a great defensive stop on Jaylen Brown.
Yeah,
like,
they just need to clamp them.
Yeah, five first-round picks, dude. Like, you need to be the guy that they traded 5 first-round picks for.
In overtime, he was.
Yeah,
he hit
in overtime, they got one's worth.
Okay.
Now he's just got to get 4 more's worth.
Yeah.
He had 2 back-to-back threes and had a crazy steal.
One playoff win does not give you 1 first-round pick. That's not enough.
Okay.
Got to do way more than that. I mean, he played all 82 games. That's good for him, too. But it's like...
I've got to be worth a first-round pick.
Especially in Tibbs' system. Yeah, okay. I'll give him that.
He's got his first-round pick. He's going to beat them and then beat the Celtics to get the second-round pick. First-round pick worth. And then we kind of slowly...
I think that's worth 2 first-round picks.
Beating the Celtics?
Yeah.
Ooh.
If it's champ Celtics, okay, I'll give it. Okay, he'll be worth 3 first-round picks.
About? They are the champions right now.
I know, because he beat the defending champs. It's not just the Celtics. That's the thing. Okay, we'll give him that. I mean, I think the biggest thing is that Cat is the biggest thing in this. Celtics missed 45 threes game 1. Attempted 60. That's a record. So that's a record. Like, that's not going to happen. Law of
They saw
variances.
the Rockets record and they're like, we're gonna break it.
Exactly. Like, this isn't going to happen again. I think the Celtics will get better on offense. That's why I'm going to pick them to win in 6. But I think the key for the Knicks right now is Cat really kind of troubled the Celtics on the boards. And the only reason why he wasn't as effective, he was dominating at the beginning of that second quarter. They got him in foul trouble. Surprise, surprise. He always does that. But like,
Every playoff game is like that. When you get plays big minutes against like meaningful things, he just starts like hacking people unnecessarily. Like the other team gets a rebound, instead of going back down, he just slaps the dude. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not really like the fouls. Even if you're like, sure, if you're like protecting the paint and you're stopping them from driving in, and it's hard fouls, so next time they don't come, like you could kind of like be like, okay, those are like a little bit more worth it fouls, if you want to say that like that, But his fouls are so stupid. They're so like do you even play basketball for a living?
that's why I don't like Cat. I've never liked Cat because I feel like he's not a winning player. He's like
He's
an empty
not.
stats kind of guy, and I feel like you can't win with him as the second option on your team. So I've never been a big fan of him, but that's what they need him to be. They need him to be, first of all, a post-up player. Like, post up. Get in
Al
the post.
Horford.
Yeah. It's against Kristaps. It's against Al Horford. These aren't defensive beasts like Robert Williams was for them. Like, they don't really, like, their centers are okay, but they're more offensive based, right? Go and post up on them. Get in the paint. Don't get an offensive foul.
You should be able to cook Payne Pritchard every time he's on the post.
Yeah, switch. Get a switch. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm happy that we're all on the same page about this, man. Man, Cat, it bothers me sometimes watching him, but they're gonna shoot better than the Celtics, and I think they'll win. I think it's pretty simple.
I agree.
Well, let's go to the fun side of the conference, I would say.
Let's do it.
The spicier side.
I mean, we just saw that spice in game 1.
Let's talk about it.
Crazy.
Nuggets, Thunder, game 1. We just finished, and we first started recording right after.
Hey, no lead
That was
is
an
safe,
insane
man.
choke. Choklahoma.
No lead is
SG.
ever safe in the playoffs.
No lead is ever safe against Jokic either. I think we gotta give saying that too, because God, man, that man is just there's literally the definition of if there's a will, there's a way, because he always just wills his way into the paint, bang, just off this dude, off that guy, and smack someone else, ugly shot, floater, fade away, flicking thing. I don't even know what his shots are called, and it's just okay, drop in.
Yeah.
Sombor shuffle.
Yeah, all of that shit, man. It's crazy, but he's different, and I think obviously he showed why today. He's the best player in the NBA, and usually when you have the best player in the NBA and you have the experience, you're gonna win the playoff series. So kind of early prediction giveaway. I'm picking the Nuggets.
No way. Oh my God.
I got the Nuggets in 6 too. I'm not the biggest believer in the Thunder fan, and I had I did say last episode when we did our first round playoff, whoever wins the Clippers Nuggets series would beat the Thunder. So I think the Nuggets can do it, and I think today they showed why. Like SGA is very ineffective when he's not, just getting a fuck ton of free throws. Yeah, and in the playoffs it's harder to find those fouls. So he wasn't as good today, and they needed him to be. And you have double agent Russ.
Double agent Russ means that he's working for OKC, right?
He was. Did you see him miss that 3?
he was the one who passed it to Gordon for the game-winning shot.
He had to. You get fired if you don't you know what I mean? You don't make that pass. Like if you be a double agent, you have to still prove to the one side that you're still working with them, right?
Oh my God. He looked pretty good today. I'm not gonna game losing 3 aside. He looked pretty good. Like, he was intense out there. He was cutting inside the paint. He was getting those shots. He was getting rebounds. Like, the biggest thing.
He does all the effort shit, and that's where his role is. Come in, put in a fuck ton of effort. There's not many people that can run off the bench that can put in much effort as Russell. Yeah, he doesn't, and it works when you're controlled and Jokic is slowing the game down, and you're letting Russ kind of defensively. Bring the intensity that, hey, if there's even a pass that's a remotely close, I'm just going to run and fucking go get it. If there's a rebound by me, I'm just going to fly over there and get it. If I can push the break while I get the rebound, I'm going to push it. And it works to an extent, Maybe you'll have him shoot less threes, but they're figuring out how to use Russell Westbrook. I think the best we've seen in a long time in terms of just NBA teams using him.
Can we talk about game 1 for a second here? I know this might last for a while, so it might not be as important by the time game 6 rolls around, but OKC fouling, while, I get it, They were fouling to prevent the game tying three, right? I get
Yes,
that.
thank you.
But
Thank you for bringing this up. Yes,
like,
yes.
it made sense. First of all, it made sense for the first time when they had the timeouts and they set up a play and then they just foul Jokic, right? Okay, sure. And then he hits the free throws. You're only up by
But then
one.
he's
They
off
foul.
the court.
Yes,
And
like
it's like you can't foul anybody. 10 seconds left. You don't have you don't have Jokic on the court. No timeouts for the Nuggets. You got to let them find a three. Because they need a down three at that point, right? That's why you're fouling to keep the whatever JJ Redick bullshit he was on, bro, about that, But you can't foul and put Jokic into the game at any cost at that point because 10 seconds left, they're hucking a shot up, and if they make it, okay, fuck it, you still got your timeout, and then you just run a play. You live with it, exactly. If Murray or Braun or Westbrook hits it, but if they don't, even if you get the ball or whatever, time still left, it's game over.
Mm-hmm.
That was a terrible decision, and I think that's obviously happens when Jokic is your coach and your best player and your fucking everything. Like their coach, you seen the clip of him just start yelling
He's
at
also
everybody.
your GM.
He might as well be. It's only hat he's not wearing right now. So I think that's a lack of coaching experience. I don't even know if that I can really say that, but I'm gonna blame coaching on that and not being in these moments before as a head coach, right? And maybe you have Malone. It's like different, and I would say most likely it would be. So huge fuck up by the Nuggets there, or sorry, the Thunder there.
Yeah, in 15 seconds left, no timeouts, no Jokic. That's when you don't foul, right? No timeouts is when you don't foul because then they have to drive the length of the court. Even if you foul them, take a little bit longer. Don't foul them immediately, right? Because what are they going to do? Shoot a shot from like 70 feet out to draw the foul? No, they're not going to do that. You just wait till they get to half court, then you foul them, right? Every second matters. That's like, I think Mark Daigneault, he was just a little bit like, oh, okay, I'm just going to keep doing this automatically. It's like he just tried to sim to the end here. Like, no.
He just thought if I do it and they get the ball back, they do it, get the ball back, it's going to be game over eventually.
Like eventually the seconds will run out. No, you just got to, let it play out eventually. Trust your defense, right?
And shout out to Chet, man. Make those free throws, bro. Come on, man. What are you doing, dude? I think Chet needs to play better. I think that's their OKC's way of getting to the championship, which is why partially I don't believe in him. I don't think Chet's played enough games to
the whole team is still kind of inexperienced in the playoffs.
Well, yes, but then also it's like I feel like they're just not. Yeah, like you said, haven't played enough big games. But then also like Chet's thing is like I don't think he's really just like cut for this yet. Not saying he can't be, but as of right now, like he can't go toe to toe with Jokic. You know what I mean? Like, and that's really what they need him to do is be a five that can kind of be like a Sengun in terms of impact, like doing different things, rebounding. Huh?
They got Hartenstein.
Hartenstein, but yeah, but he even on the Knicks was not like he's not a needle mover as much, right? Chet supposed to move the needle here. He's the second pick. They're supposed to be your second best scorer, and that's kind of my biggest doubt. I even like take out the SGA and his struggles from today. I think next game he's going to have 30 plus, and they'll probably win. But when is Chet going to kind of be that number two option? Jalen Williams got to be the third option, I think, in my opinion, if this Thunder team really wants to win, right? And not vice versa, where you don't know what you're getting out of Chet. You're going to get your smooth, like, 20 from J-Dub, but that's it, right? Where it's like, I think the missing link is Chet, who needs to be getting close to 20, 25 as well.
One thing I want to point out here, the battle that I saw in Game 1, rebounds. Nuggets had 63 rebounds to the OKC's 43. 20 more. Jokic had 22 on his own. Gordon, 14. Christian Braun had 13 rebounds. Like, that's insane. I think that the way for the Nuggets to beat the Thunder is just to keep beating them on the boards because I think you're right, G. Like, the bigs are their weakness. It was their weakness in Dallas when they, fought against Lively and Gafford and, the rest of them. And it's going to be their weakness now because Nuggets' best player is literally their big man in Jokic right now. And if he can continue to step up, continue to carry the team, and then the rest of the players just have to keep hitting shots, playing good defense. Like, Thunder are just insane on threes. Like, every time I saw them shoot a three, I felt like it was going to go in. Like, I don't know what they have there, and they have so much depth and so much talent. Like, you have to keep on bullying them inside, go into the paint and score, and you just have to keep going at them, and then hopefully that playoff inexperience will break them, right? Because like they won't be able to close the game. You just
I think it broke them today as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they'll win Game 2. That's the thing, Like,
I think Shai will have a great game and bounce back and play much better tomorrow or 2 days from now on Wednesday. But it's a back and forth. I think it's always funny because someone said it in kind of just general playoff terms, like when your team loses, doesn't seem like there's any way your team can win, and when your team's winning, then it doesn't seem like there's any way your team can lose. And I think it's kind of like very, very true. When your team's lost, you're like, fuck, dude, we're fucked. We don't know what to do. They're inexperienced with this and that. And then you win, you're like, oh, this guy's still the MVP. This guy's like the narrative switches so quickly, right, from back and forth. So I think it should be interesting with that series. I don't think either of you two gave your final predictions for that one.
I'm gonna go Nuggets in 7.
I feel like you guys are getting swung by this game one right here. Like, what happens if Gordon misses that
man,
shot?
It's just playoff experience, man. I'm so impressed on how Aaron Gordon improved ever since he joined the league, going from the Magic till now. I mean, he is clutch, dude, and he shows up.
He does show up.
Yep, 2-game winners.
Archbishop Midi.
I'm going with the Thunder in 6. Sorry, guys. I still feel like this team is just the most talented team right now in the league. Well, I don't say the most talented, but they just have the most ability to win. I think right now they have so much depth. They have so many players that can just randomly beat you. And I know they really are one guy, Shea, is kind of carrying the star load, I'd say. But I feel his supporting cast is really, really good, and they play really, really good defense. And I just don't know.
Caruso, man.
Caruso was, I think, their second best player tonight.
Fucking balling, bro. Yeah, he definitely was. He was hooping.
6 steals. He had at least 3 3-pointers, I want to say.
He had that fucking nasty look like fucking LeBron James chase down Brock today too.
Yeah,
doing his role, man.
That's why I just feel like they eventually will figure it out and win in 6. And if they beat this team, then I feel like they're going to be serious. They've never gotten out of the second round before. Now, if they beat this championship established team, I think they can.
Then they'll lose to the fucking dynasty.
Oh, boy.
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Let's talk about it. Let's go right into it. Only for game one that has been played, best for last. It's the Warriors versus the Timberwolves. The 6-7 matchup. Am I right?
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
Crazy. I think this is going to be an insane series. And the storylines are great. We can quickly go over them. There's the classic Gobert versus Draymond, choke them out, all that fun stuff. We don't need to get into that. You guys know about that one. Then there's
Butler versus Minnesota.
Jimmy versus Minnesota. Third stringers versus the starters. You know the story of that one. Then there's the Anthony Edwards. They passed up on me. They said even if we had the first pick, we wouldn't draft you. Steve Kerr told me that. So there's that. I'm sure he wants to just fucking drop 50 a game on us. So sure. Hey man, this is peak basketball. That's gonna happen here. But you know what I'm saying? Hey,
how many fights do you think is gonna break out?
Dude, Draymond's getting suspended for 1 game. I'm calling it right now. Look, okay, he's 1 flagrant away, and he's 1 technical away from being suspended. You don't think he's gonna get either one throughout the entire series?
Yeah,
he's getting suspended.
Both. Yeah. Can you get both in 1 game just to get it out of the way?
He'll get suspended the next game. It doesn't matter. I think he'll still be able to play that game. But
I think he'll still finish to get the game unless he has a flagrant 2, which against Gobert, I'm not putting it out the fuck. Put him in a chokehold, man. I mean, they showed the clip again. Obviously, it was a funny hey, this is what happened last time. But
dude, I feel bad
to think about.
But it's funny. It's very funny.
And I have
USA versus France.
Yeah, and I have a quick trivia for the guys here today.
All right.
This is one of 3 Western Conference teams that Steph Curry has yet to play in the playoffs. Can you guys name the other 2?
Yes, I can. It is the Suns and oh my god.
Wait, let Dylan name the other one then.
Okay, go.
Oh shit. Wait, it has to be a Western Conference, right?
Yeah, there's only 3 Western Conference teams that he hasn't played against in the playoffs yet. Doesn't mean necessarily they've won or lost, so.
That's never played, right?
Yeah, the Suns is one, Matt was right, and then Timberwolves is the other that they're going to play now. Who's the last one?
There's one more.
Are you sure it's never played or is never won?
No, never played in the playoffs.
Huh.
Well,
interesting. I'm looking at the Western Conference. I feel like he played every single one.
No, yeah,
Well,
you tell me.
Warriors.
I guess it's the
you
Warriors.
got me
I guess it's a
there.
trick
No,
question. Oh, you fuck.
no, it's not. It's not a trick question.
So what
But
was it?
Yeah.
well, I guess we'll never know.
What are you talking about?
It
Just
is
say it. Now you're making me question this actual question.
No, it's an actual question. I might have just forgot the answer
The stat
myself.
that I saw was that the three teams in the West he's never beaten were the Timberwolves, the Lakers, and the Warriors. That's what but he's played the Lakers. That's the thing. That was the thing that I thought.
I want to say that's not true because he hasn't beaten the Clippers either.
No,
Yes,
he
he
beat the
has.
Clippers first round 2019.
Okay. Well, it might have been that. It might have been the Warriors. That's why I might be forgetting. But
I was
let
like,
us
I'm looking.
continue.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure he like played every single one of these teams.
Probably should imagine whatever Twitter shit I saw Matt was in a suite, dude. Fuck you, Matt.
I'm everywhere. I'm online. I'm
Yeah,
in
I
your
know.
walls.
Anything Warrior related, Matt would have already saw. But what do you guys think, man? What's our predictions here?
Oh wait. Let's dive deep in some this is our team, right? This is our analyze. This is where we put our big brains on because we've known this team more than most. I mean, first things first, these boys are tired. These boys got to be very, very tired, and I feel like in the Rocket series, you could tell once it started switching from 2 rest days to 1 rest day from Game 3 onward. Game 4 they were super tired. They shot terrible. Game 5 same thing. Game 6 same thing. Game 7 they were able to turn it on, but I just wonder if it's just because they put all that juice left in the tank just for that one moment, put a little bit more into their legs. But now we got 1 day rest in every single game until Game 5. And I just worry that they don't have enough stamina right now because they got to be very, very tired. Steph just played 46 minutes.
I know you're probably right, Matt, and that just logically makes the most sense. But we literally just saw the Knicks, who were on less stress, beat the Celtics. We watched the Timberwolves on less, or sorry, not Timberwolves.
Nuggets,
The Nuggets come off of Game 7 in the same exact situation as us, and I totally thought, I'm like, oh, these guys are going to come out flat. Jokic is not going to come out flat, or he's going to come out flat. You know, they're not going to play as good, and they look like they had more rest than the Thunder. And I think sometimes it could be like a rest versus rust thing, right? We kind of bring this up with the bye week in the NFL, but it also think is an NBA too, because you have so much time off between these games. You kind of got to find your shot again and kind of get that momentum going. So I don't know if that's as big as a thing as I thought it would be. Obviously, for the Warriors, it's different because they're kind of like one of the older teams. But at the end of the day, I think they're going to come out and steal Game 1.
Whew. I'm not as certain. I think Steve Kerr might even know that they aren't able to play as much. I think they might just play more 36 minutes compared to the 40 that they were playing at the end of the series here. Feel out game, see what happens. And if they are close in the fourth quarter, they might play them the whole way. I think, oh my God, it's going to be tough. It's going to be very, very tough, especially the fact that they just got off a series where they were facing double bigs in Sengun and Adams. Now they got to do it again in Randall and Gobert. Timberwolves are a much better three-point shooting team. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, it's not only they're big, but they're, lengthy, too.
Yeah, they got Nickeil Alexander-Walker. They got Jaden McDaniels. What do you think the defense is going to be like? Because I feel like it's going to be...
So let's kind of go over, we know the Timberwolves starting lineup is going to be. It's pretty copy and paste every year, right? Mm-hmm. And especially going playoffs, they're not making any adjustments to the Warriors, right? Do we have the Warriors who, God knows who who's going to run the lineup, right? So you have Steph, Jimmy, Dre, 100% starting. I would say Pods is probably close to a 75% chance of probably going to be starting.
Mm-hmm. Moody's probably going to get switched in and out.
So there's an eyes between Moody and Hield, right? And it's defensively, I'm thinking, if you're going to go small ball regardless, right? Dre's going to be on Gobert, perfect. And then you got Jimmy, who's got to be on Julius Randle, in my opinion. And so that leaves, obviously, the Anthony Edwards dilemma, and which is why I don't think Buddy Hield will start Game 1, even though he just played insane Game 7. And it's going to be criticized for that decision. But I think it's a situation where you're looking at defensive matchups. I don't like sticking Pods on Anthony Edwards all game. And obviously, you're not going to stick anybody. You start Moody so he can have a little bit of early matchup against him and stuff, and then kind of have Pods come in later and guard him. And then when maybe times where Moody's not out there, you have Healed in or stuff like that, right? So I'm going to start Moody. And what do you guys think? Who's Curry's going to start at that 5th spot, or do you guys think it's Moody and Healed, and you kind of maybe it makes sense to have Pods come off the bench?
What I do versus what Care I think he will do is that I think he'll have Healed out there. It'll be Steph, Butler, Dre, Pods, Healed. That will be the first lineup. I think he should start Moody to go on Edwards, but I understand why he would go with Healed to get some more offensive firepower. But that was just because it was the Rockets and they played his own defense. Maybe he was trying to get the shots out more like that, and he didn't trust Moody's offensive shot, which is fair, right? So I don't know what he's going to run against the Timberwolves. That would be the lineup I would suggest because that was their most successful lineup. I want to switch Draymond on Randall, and I would put Butler on Gobert because I think Gobert is not as, he's not going to be that much of an offensive threat. The
only reason that kind of scares me is offensive rebounds, and that was a huge reason on why they fucking dick down the fucking Lakers game 5. Gobert looked like fucking prime Hakeem Olajuwon mixed with Shaq, mixed with Moses Malone. It was a sight to behold, man. But I think that you got to put Dre on him, let him get physical. Cause I think there's a mental game that you're playing with putting Draymond on Gobert, because Draymond's will play 7 feet off of him and kind of like disrespect him a little bit. And I think that's how Draymond gets in his head, kind of rattles Gobert, and that's going to be huge. We need him rattled. I think you leave Butler on him, it's less mental. It's more, okay, I can just get over him. Like maybe, so, a little bit of mental matchups there. And you got to get Gobert rattled so they take him kind of out of the game, and you have easier defensive matchups.
Because that's the thing. Like, I feel like the key for the Warriors to win this is to not. It's okay to let Ant go off. Ant's gonna go off. He's gonna do his thing. You can't let McDaniels go off. You can't let Randall go off. Those two guys were the ones who surprised me the most in that Lakers series. I underestimated them, and they basically, dominated throughout that entire series. And I think McDaniels is going to be the biggest factor in this entire series on both ends, because I think Curry's probably going to be on him on defense, and he's going to be on Curry on offense. Like,
and don't forget about DiVincenzo.
DiVincenzo too, man. They have so much depth.
And we haven't talked about Naz Reid yet.
Oh my God, we'll get to him in a second. But my only thing is, for me, when you have their starting lineup in there without Nas in, right, and you're running that kind of small ball Warrior lineup, would kind of, make what I like is that they can't hunt a single individual on the Warrior lineup, right? Like maybe Heald's their worst defender. If you have Moody in, then, you don't really have like a bad defender. Like they're all serviceable. Even Steph is a serviceable defender, and he knows how to, be active and be in the passing lanes and things of that nature. So you can't just, pick on guys like Jaden McDaniels just picking on Luka and stuff. Like that's not happening this series. So I kind of question how good he's going to be playing, because even a Pods is a high effort, I'm going to get, down and dirty with you. Like, let's do it. Right. So that's what we like about Pods.
No, I think Pods will be on Conley, right? Conley.
I think I think you do. I think you have it backwards. I put Pods on McDaniels because you're going to get him a little bit more flustered, and put Steph on Mike Conley because it's a slower, easier matchup, and you go off like that.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, I think the Lakers' perimeter defense is awful. They were terrible.
Yeah, awful.
And the Warriors are much better, like, defensively.
But we played great defense
right?
against Houston.
Yeah. And, but it's also Houston was terrible. Like, they weren't a good offensive unit to begin with. But the Warriors...
The problem I think we were going to come up with is, like, fuck, bro, they put Naz Reid in, we got issues.
We have no answer to Naz Reid.
Fucking Quinn Post is not a Naz Reid answer.
Naz Reid, yeah. No one has an answer for Naz Reid because Naz Reid's Naz Reid. I think it's more the fact that it depends on how much Gobert is going to play. Can you run Gobert off this court? Like, I think you can if you're the Warriors. And that's what the goal should be, right?
I think if that's the case, you should put in Quinn Post. Just because, like, how much space he provides us, and with his 3-point shooting, like, it's going to force... I think it would force Gobert out of the paint.
I'm not concerned about Gobert on defense. Like... Because I think that they're better as a perimeter defense without Gobert and with Naz Reid in. Because Naz Reid was clamping up Luka on the perimeter.
Yeah, dude, that show's insane, bro. Naz Reid's a fucking GOAT, bro. Hey, That's just totally irrelevant, bro, but I hope we make the play on Naz Reid this offseason.
We always say that. he never leaves. But I would love it.
The city loves him, bro. They got fucking fans tatted Nas Reed's fucking shit over their stomach and shit, dude.
And it makes sense.
Their back and their legs, and it's like Nas Reed's a fucking Houston or Minnesota goat.
Yeah, I hate Gobert. I love Nas Reed. It's just what it is.
It's gonna be a good series, but I'm gonna give my prediction here.
Mm-hmm.
Warriors in 6.
Wow. Okay. All right. Dylan?
I think I have to follow G on this one too, man. I think 7. I think we don't have enough gas for 7 games. We gotta clean this up quickly if we can.
But see, it might be one of those cases where you lose a game 6 really ugly, or you drop a couple games looking flat. Maybe it's earlier game 1 or
losing game
something.
1. If it looks really bad tomorrow, I think Steve Kerr might just take them out of the third quarter.
I don't think so. I don't think that's a possibility at all.
I think it's very possible, and he probably
it's
will.
It's just I just hope the Warriors find a third like similar to yesterday with Buddy Hield. They need that third scorer because that. I think that Rockets series, you just see they always send 2 right when Steph passes half court. They always blitz him passing half court, and then it puts pressure on the rest of the team to hit those shots. And we need a reliable third scorer to hit those shots, so it eases off the burden from Jimmy and Steph.
Yeah, what changed in Game 6 and Game 7 is the fact that Game 6, the message Kerr sent was feed Butler and Curry. And I think that messed with their heads a little bit, and they were always looking for Curry or Butler to make and pass and give them the shot. And in Game 7, they were more decisive, and they said, let me do the shot myself. And that's exactly what they need, especially now that they have to go to another 7-game series. Stamina is an issue. Depth is an issue, right? So the depth has to step up for the Warriors if they want to win this. They have to find that third scorer. They have to find points off the bench. If Curry and Butler are going to give you 50 points combined, what are the other 50-something points going to come from, right? That's the biggest thing.
And I don't even know if they're even going to blitz Steph because of how lengthy they are.
They will blitz Steph. Because they should blitz Steph. They should always blitz Steph because, again, I would rather contain Steph and believe that the other guys will beat you, because if the other guys beat you, then you just shake your hand. But if you let Steph beat you, that's your own damn fault.
You're just going to look stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it'd be interesting. Matt, I don't think you gave us your final.
Yeah, to be honest, guys, I'm so glad that we won in 7. We didn't blow that 3-1 lead. That's all I could get, possibly ask for, at least for this season already. I think it's a really, really tough kind of stamina. I really don't think that they have enough gas in the tank at this point. But, I'm just going to go with Warriors in 7 just because I'm a homer and just because I'm never going to pick our guys to lose. Come on now.
Wonderful, Matt. I was hoping you wouldn't do some Vivek shit and say something stupid.
Vivek did save us probably because he did jinx. He didn't put the jinx on us.
No, it's not a thing.
We'll see.
No way we would all pick the same team, Lakers, and then they lose, unfortunately. Lakers.
It's a whole big circle. You circled right back to our beginning topic. It's very profound.
Wow, it's almost like I do this professionally.
So poetic.
Thank you, man.
All right, that is going to do it for today's podcast. You can find all of our podcasts on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcasts from. You can also follow our social medias, Twitter, Threads, Instagram. They're all the same, Sports_Counsel. And you'll find our Discord link in all of them. You can discuss anything you want with us. You can even discuss what you want us to talk about on the next podcast, because that would be great.
And how much money you guys lost.
Yeah, we don't talk about that, but I lost a lot today.
Same. I actually did as well. So let's move on.
Yeah, fuck Jason Tatum. All right, is there anything you want to say before we end today's show?
I'm looking forward to more fights in round 2.
Let's get physical.
All right. That'll do it. Thank you so much, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya.